Hello, mighty companion. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And our topic from A Course in Miracles is going to be the power of decision. We're going to talk about decisions. We're going to talk about choices. We're going to see what the Course in Miracles says about your power of decision. Do you have a lot of decisions that are pressing you right now? Do you have a lot of decisions to make? What is the power of your decision? We're going to see what A Course in Miracles has to say about that. And we're going to start out with a little music from A Course in Miracles by Brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com in case you'd like to download this music from A Course in Miracles for free. And here we go. It's called Teach Only Love. So take a breath, teach only love. That is what you are, only love. Yes, that is what you are, teach only love. That is what you are. Teach only love. Everywhere you go, teach only love. To everyone you know, teach only love. Love is what you are. Hey, yeah. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Teach only love. Each and every day, teach only love. In your own special way, teach only love. Love is what you are. Mighty companion, it's so good to be with you. So good, so good, so good. Teach only love. Love is what you are. Teach only love. Yeah, you're a shining star. Only love. Love is what you are. Guess what? Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Teach only love. Each and every day, teach only love. Each and every way, teach only love. Love is what you are. Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, Earl Raj Purdy, here on Facebook Live. Welcome to A Course in Right Thinking. The Course in Miracles says that a miracle is a correct perception. A miracle is a correct perception. That if we have a correct perception, if we have the right perception, if we have a loving perception, the Course says it's a miracle. And that's why it's called A Course in Miracles. Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, send some hearts up. I want to make sure that we are technically correct right now. So if you can hear me, let me know. I'm so glad that we're going to talk about decisions. We're going to talk about the power of decisions. Do you have some important decisions that you need to make right now? Do you have some choices? Thank you for letting me know. If you're hearing me fine, good. So we're going to focus on what A Course in Miracles says about the power of decision. We're going to be in A Course in Miracles, the Blue Book, and we're going to be in the workbook section of A Course in Miracles, and we're going to be in lesson 152. Lesson 152. And lesson 152 is on page 281. Page 281. Lesson 152. That's what we're going to do. Lesson 122. I'm the Divine Repetition Teacher. I'm your remembering coach. Do you know that? I've been teaching and learning the Course in Miracles 43 years this week. And the Course in Miracles works. But you have to, do you know what you have to remember? I'm going to tell you the guidelines. You need not believe the ideas that I'm going to share with you from A Course in Miracles. You need not believe it. You need not accept it. You need not even welcome the ideas from A Course in Miracles. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. What did I just say? Thank you for the great wishes. You need not even welcome the ideas. I love you all so much. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Did you hear me? Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of these ideas you may actively not like some of these ideas. Some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles you will find hard to believe, especially the section we're going to cover. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. Would you be willing to really listen to what I'm saying? Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. Do you know you are not asked to judge and analyze the ideas in A Course in Miracles at all? I'm quoting this from the Course in Miracles workbook. It says, you are not asked to judge. You're not asked to analyze the ideas at all. And I'm not going to analyze A Course in Miracles. So how do you know that the Course in Miracles is true? How will you know that the Course in Miracles is true? How will you know that the Course in Miracles works? That's right. No analysis paralysis is necessary. So what will make you aware that the ideas in the Course in Miracles are true? Using the ideas will give the ideas in the Course in Miracles meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So take a breath. Now, do you have some decisions? I teach in a question and answer format, and I use plain language. so good to be with you. Do you know A Course in Miracles says many times, read me slowly. Do it slowly. Do it slowly. So what is it that causes a person to suffer loss? What is it that really causes a person to seem to lose or to suffer loss? Well, the Course in Miracles says that no one can suffer loss. No one, that includes you. You cannot suffer what you think of as loss unless it is your own decision. What? Well, you are a spiritual being, an unlimited child of the Creator. And so you have creative power. You are a spirit having a human experience. So you may not know it, but you never lose anything unless it's your own decision. No one suffers pain unless their choice elects this for them. So do you mean the Course in Miracles is saying that if you're suffering pain about a situation right now, it's your choice that's electing and causing that state for you? Yes, that's what the Course in Miracles is saying. But don't forget now, I said that some of the ideas you might resist. So I really wasn't kidding when I said that. Some of the ideas you might resist. But regardless of your reaction to the ideas, the Course in Miracles says if you will use the ideas, you will see that the ideas are true. So no one can grieve. Do you know that no one can be afraid? Do you know that no one can think of themselves as sick unless these are the outcomes that that person wants? No one can grieve, no one can be afraid, no one can be sick unless these are the outcomes that they want. Remember, the premise of the Course in Miracles is that you are a child of God. You are an unlimited spiritual being with unlimited creative powers, but you don't realize that. You are having a human experience. So you have forgotten who you really are and how powerful you are. And this next sentence, I'm gonna tell you right now, this next sentence is probably gonna bring up a lot of resistance. Do you know what the next sentence says? And no one dies, no one dies without their own consent. You mean that no one dies without their own consent? No one dies without their own consent. When you leave this plane, it will be because at a soul level, you were ready to leave the body and leave this plane. You will not die without your own consent. You will not leave the body until you determine that you want to leave the body. Do you know nothing occurs but represents your wish? Everything that happens represents your wish. What did you just say from A Course in Miracles, Earl? Nothing occurs but represents your wish. So what is going on in your life right now represents your wishes, but you might not be aware of that. I'm not saying you are aware of the truth of what the Course in Miracles is saying. I'm just telling you what's happening. Whether you believe it or not, I'm telling you what's happening according to the Course in Miracles. You don't suffer unless it's your decision. You don't suffer pain unless some part of you chooses that for you. You don't grieve, you don't fear, you don't see yourself as sick unless these are outcomes you want. You will not die until you actually at a soul level are ready to leave the body. No one dies without their own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, but it also means nothing is omitted that you choose. Whatever you choose, you're going to experience. Whatever you choose, you're going to experience. We're in the workbook, and we're on page 281 in the workbook, lesson 152. The power of decision, which is the same as saying what? The power of choosing is your own. You will not wake up to the love and the happiness and the power and the peace that you want until you learn to look at things exactly opposite to the way that you were taught by the ego, which is the world. The truth is the opposite of what the world believes and what the world teaches. The real truth is the opposite to what you were taught if you were taught by the world. You may not know it, but there's nothing missing from your experience except what you haven't truly asked for, even though you might think you have. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here is your world. Do you know that here is your world's whole reality for you? And it is here, knowing that you don't suffer unless it's your decision. You don't suffer pain unless that's this choice that you make, that you don't grieve, fear, or be sick unless these are outcomes that you want at some level, and that you'll never die until you and your soul has determined that no matter what your death looks like, nothing occurs but represents your wish. This is your world, complete in all details. Here it's its whole reality for you. And really, here is where your happiness, your power, your peace, and your salvation lies, in knowing that. Now, you may believe that this position that you are the one that's determining and choosing everything that happens to you, you may see that as a position that's too extreme, that you might be willing to accept that some things you are the one that asks for and creates and makes, but there might be a part of you that says, it couldn't be that every single solitary thing that I perceive and the way that I perceive it is coming from within me. That's just too much, Earl. I can accept that I'm the one that decided that I'd eat a cupcake, but I'm certainly not the one that decided that I'd go through that backache. That backache just happened to me. No, that's not true. According to the Course, which I said earlier, some of the ideas you may actively resist. But there can't be any exceptions to the truth. The truth says that you are responsible for how you see and experience everything in your experience, all of it. So if you have been given the gift of everything, now let me remind you, the Course teaches you that you have been given the gift of everything. Your Creator has given you everything. The universe has given you everything. The higher power has given you everything. So if you have everything, you may not be aware that you have everything. You may have beliefs that block you from knowing you have everything, but you've been given everything. And if you've been given everything, let me ask you, if you've been given everything, can losing be real? How can you lose if you've been given everything by your Creator? If you've been given everything by love? If you've been given everything by God? How can loss be real? Now, I'm not denying that it can look like your suffering didn't come from your decision. It can look like you didn't suffer pain because you chose it. It can look like that you don't grieve, fear, or become sick because that's something you want. It can look like people make their transition without their consent. It can look like everything that happens to you is not being created by you. I'm not denying that, but it doesn't make it true. And I know it says right in paragraph 2, you may believe this position is extreme. You may believe this position is too inclusive to be true. Can truth have exceptions? If you have the gift of everything, how can loss be real? How can pain be a part of peace? If you say you want to go for peace, then you've got to start to choose to let go of pain. You have to learn how to let go of pain. How can pain be a part of peace? And how can you ever be joyful if you're full of grief and sadness? So you're either going to have grief or you're going to have joy, but you can't have both of them. And can fear and can sickness enter a mind where love and perfect holiness abide? Now, what does the Course in Miracles teach that the word holiness means? The Course in Miracles teaches that the word holiness means innocent, and innocence, and power, and love. So let me ask you, how can fear be in your mind if you only have a mind that only has love in it, love in it, love in it? How can you have fear or guilt in your mind if there's only innocence in your mind, if there's only thoughts of innocence in your mind? So what am I saying? What is the Course saying? The Course is saying that truth must be all-inclusive. Truth, if it's true about everything. What's true is true about everyone. Truth is inclusive. If it's real love, it includes everyone. We're counting on the fact that God's love includes all of us. If it's love, there's no one left out. If it's the truth, gravity applies to everyone on earth in normal situations. Gravity doesn't work for you when you're walking down the street and doesn't work for your friend that you're walking down the street with. Whatever is true for all of us. If it's really true. So what do? Accept no opposites. Don't accept any opposites to the truth. Don't accept any opposites to love. Don't accept any opposites to innocence. Don't accept any opposites to wealth and abundance and peace. No exceptions. If it's true, there are no exceptions. Real love wouldn't be me loving one person but then excluding everyone else. Anything that's real includes everyone. If love is real, love includes everyone. Accept no opposites and no exceptions, because what happens when you accept opposites and exceptions? Well, what does it say? It says, but to do so is to contradict the truth entirely. Did I say some of the ideas you may actively resist? Did I say some of the ideas you will find hard to believe and others may seem to be quite startling? Did I say that you didn't have to believe the ideas, you didn't have to accept the ideas? Did I say you didn't have to welcome the ideas? I think I did, right? I know that you probably have a lot of yes buts, right? You know, you're hearing me talk and you're saying yes but, yes but, yes but but what about this? What about that? I'm not saying that you are going to necessarily be in agreement, because if you really realize that you are the one that's creating your reality completely coming from your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs being projected outward, you wouldn't have any problems right now. You would only have peace, joy, and happiness right now. You wouldn't have any grievances against anybody, because how could you have a grievance against somebody who's doing exactly what you're asking them to do? So I understand that you have to believe the opposite to what I'm saying in order for you to be in fear or unhappiness or conflict. Because assuming the power of decision as a child of God would mean that you would not have any problems if you really knew you were the one that the solution was located in. So I'm not expecting you to be in agreement with what the Course in Miracles is saying, but that doesn't stop it from being true just because a person doesn't agree. So what is salvation? What is salvation? What is the Course in Miracles definition of salvation? Well, it says in paragraph 3, salvation is the recognition that the truth is true. Your healing, your happiness, your peace, your salvation, don't you know it's going to come from you recognizing that what I just said to you is true and that nothing else is true? That you are powerful, that you are innocent, that you are love, that you are spirit, that you're the creator of your experience, that your vibration, your consciousness, your thoughts create the reality that you are perceiving and experiencing. You're recognizing that that is true and that nothing else is true. Love is true and nothing else is true. You've heard this before, but you may not accept both parts of it. What are the two parts? The truth is true, and nothing else is. Part 1 is the truth is true, God is true, love is true, abundance is true, that your spirit is true, that you're responsible for how you perceive and experience your life is true, and nothing else is true. Nothing else is true. I'm so happy to hear that. And when Jesus of the Course walked, when the higher power walked and washed your perception of guilt and sin away. You're not a sinner. You're not a sinner. There is no sin. There is no sin. There is no sin. You make mistakes, and mistakes are for correction. Mistakes are not for punishment. Mistakes are for correction. And you've heard this many times before, that the truth that you're studying is true and nothing else is true. But you may not accept both parts, that the truth is true and nothing else is true. But without the second part, which is nothing but the truth is true, then the first part, that the truth is true, doesn't have any meaning. So you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice that either what you're studying is true, that your spiritual path is true, that love is true, that the truth is true. And if the truth is true, then what's not the truth is not true. And the world doesn't teach you that you are an all-powerful, innocent child of God that creates your own reality, and that you're a spiritual being that chooses and elects every single thing that happens to you. Because if you can change your mind and then therefore change your reality, then you don't have to be a victim of anything. You don't have to be a victim of your childhood. You don't have to be a victim of your past. You don't have to be a victim of your past relationships. You don't have to be a victim of sickness or lack. If you can change everything by changing the inner, you change the outer, then that means you're not stuck in the situation that you're in right now. It means that you have options. It means that the situation that you're in that might be causing you distress can be changed. And if the truth is true, there are no exceptions to that. That's true about every aspect of your experience. So there can be an opposite to truth. There's not reality and something else. There's not the truth and something else. And this can't be too often said. What can be too often said? That there's no opposite to truth. There's no opposite to love. There is the perception of an opposite to truth. There's the perception of the opposite to love. There's a perception of the opposite to abundance. But that's not the truth. So because think about this, if what's not true is true, and then if what is true, then that means part of the truth is false. If part of the truth isn't true, if there's some situations where love is not real, if there's some situation that you could be a victim, then that's saying that the truth isn't true, because the truth is saying that you determine your perception and experience of every single thing that's happening in your experience, and there's no exceptions to that. Nothing but what's true is true, and what is false is false. What's not true is false. What's not true is false. And what is it that's not true? It's not true that you are a victim of the world. It's not true that you are a victim of your financial situation. It's not true that you are a victim of that other person. It's not true that you're a victim of circumstance. It's not true that you're a victim of your race. It's not true that you're a victim of your sex. It's not true that you're a victim of anything, because you are an unlimited spiritual being that creates through your conscious and unconscious thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs, but you don't know that. You haven't been taught that. So you don't know maybe that all of your grievances and anger and upsets are producing all of the lack and the upset and the pain and the suffering that you're perceiving in your experience right now. You might not know that, but that doesn't stop it from being true, that you are a powerful, 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 unlimited being who has support, help, that the Course calls the Holy Spirit, your true self, your real self, your guide, your teacher that's invisible within you, that's teaching you right now. So do you know this is the simplest of distinctions, but the distinction that's most obscure, but not because it's difficult. Not this distinction that we're talking about, that the truth is true and what's not true isn't true. That is a distinction, but the Course says not because it's a difficult distinction to perceive. The fact that you are the creator of your experience, and you're the one that's determining what you experience and how you see things according to the decisions that you make, that's hidden. The Course in Miracles says that truth, that you're the creator of your experience that you're in, that is concealed behind what appears to be a vast array of choices that don't appear to be entirely your choice. It seems like what you're going through is happening because of things that don't look like it has anything to do with you. It looks like this truth that you are the creator of your experience appears to not be true in some areas, but it appears to be true in other areas. And so the Course in Miracles says those areas where it looks like you're a victim, where it looks like you're not the one that's creating the experience, he says these are just contradictions that are being introduced by you. There's a part of you that doesn't want to take 100% responsibility for how you see things and how you are experiencing things. And so it creates situations where it looks like you are a victim of things outside of yourself. But the Course in Miracles says you are the one that's introducing the contradiction to the idea that you are the creator, that you are the one that's determining everything that you are experiencing. But what do you really like as God created you? What do you really like as your creator created you? What is your true self really like? Well, it says in paragraph 5, as God created you, as love created you, as your creator created you, you must remain unchangeable. What you really are never changes. What you really are is love. What you really are is spirit. What you really are is innocent. What you really are is joined. What you really are is powerful. What you really are is a being that creates your perception and your experience of your reality. So what you really are never changes. What you really are, which is love, which is light, which is free, that never changes. Your real self never changes. So what does that mean? Well, it means that transitory states are false. So if what you are is stable, whole, permanent, totally loving, and never changes, well, then that means any kind of transitory states must not really be you. That includes uh, all shifts in feeling. That's not really you. That's your ego. All alterations in conditions. That's not really you. That's your ego. That's your false self. That's the you that you think you are, that you've learned from the world. That's your human self, not your spiritual self. Any transitory states are false. That includes alterations in your body. That includes alterations in your mind. That includes alterations in your awareness. And that includes alterations in your response to things. That's not coming from your true self. Alterations, shifts in feeling, shifts in conditions of the body, shifts in the mind, shifts in awareness, shifts in response. That's not coming from yourself as God created you. So this is the all-inclusiveness. Do you know that this is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is? You are permanent. You are spirit. You are eternal. You do not die. You are mind. You are awareness. You are consciousness. You are one with all that is. You are a creator. Who you really are does not have a lot of shifts of moods and feelings and conditions in the body, in the mind. That's the truth about you. Do you know that truth? Do you realize that truth? You may not know that truth. You may not realize that truth. This is Hardcore Course in Miracles. This class is not for the faint at heart. This class is not for people who are looking to get validated in terms of what they think and believe that the world taught. Okay? You weren't sent to this to watch this or to hear this so that you could hear what you already believe. Especially if you're unhappy about something. Especially if you know you're ready for a change. Especially if you know that there are decisions that need to be made. And I'm not going to rush through this because it's too important. This is too important a lesson to rush through it. Because I know that you probably have heard some things that have you maybe a little disoriented. That's because you're hearing the truth. You're hearing the opposite of what the world believes. You're hearing the opposite of what the world teaches. But what the world believes and what the world teaches is what's producing the fear and conflict and separation and all of the things that are going on in the world that seem chaotic and crazy. Those things are coming from thoughts of the ego, thoughts of separation. So the truth would have to be just exactly opposite to what the world teaches, even if you don't believe it yet. So isn't it strange to learn that you made the world you see is arrogant? God didn't make the world you see. God did not make the world you see. You can be sure of this. Love didn't make the world of fear and anger and separation that you see. You can be sure that God didn't make the world of anger and separation that you see. What can love know? What can God know of things that are ephemeral, that don't really last? What can God know? What can love know of something being sinful? Or what can love know of the guilty? What can love know? What can God know of the afraid, the suffering, the lonely? What can an unlimited creator know of a mind that lives in a body that must die. Do you really think God would love you and put you in a body that must die one day? Do you really think a creator that loves you and loves anyone would put them in a body that must die? Do you think love, which is the creator, would make you lonely and want you to be alone? Do you think God, love, the creator, would be seeing you that it created as sinful and guilty? Do you think that love and an unlimited creator would see you as something that suffers? But can you see yourself that way? Can you see yourself as sinful and guilty if you wanted to? Can you make the decision to see yourself as guilty? Can you make the decision to see yourself as afraid? Can you make the decision to see yourself as suffering about something? Can you make the decision to see yourself as lonely? Can you make the decision to see yourself as this being that lives inside a body that's going to die one day? You are accusing God of being insane if you think God made a world where there is the belief in sin, guilt, fear, suffering, sickness, loneliness, and people that have to die. The Course in Miracles says God would have to be friggin' crazy to create a world like that. To think that God made a world where all of this pain and suffering happens, God would be crazy. The creator would be insane. The creator would not be loving. And what does the next sentence say? It says, God is not mad. Your creator is not insane. And only madness makes a world like this. Only madness would make a world where it looks like little children are killed, that people are sinful and guilty, that there's fear everywhere, that there's suffering everywhere, that there's loneliness, that a person lives in a body that must die. The Course in Miracles says, you all are accusing your creator of being crazy if you think your creator would make these things. And then people say, well, where does it come from? Where does it come from? It comes from us. It comes from us. The loneliness, the suffering, the pain, the guilt, it's coming from the beliefs and ideas that we have about ourselves, that we have learned, the separation we have learned, being unaware of our true spiritual identity, projecting thoughts of separation and anger and guilt and sickness and lack. God didn't create this world of madness and insanity that we see. We did. We are. That's why it's not real. That's why it cannot last. Because it's not rooted in love. It's not rooted in oneness. This world is not rooted in sanity and love. And of course, in Miracles teaches that whatever is not rooted in love cannot last. It has to end because it's not rooted in awareness and love. So the Course in Miracles says, check out the next sentence in paragraph 7. It says, to think that God made chaos, to think that God contradicts God's own will, which is love and happiness, to think that God invented opposites to love, opposites to peace, opposites to kindness, to think that God made death to triumph over life. This is arrogance. This is arrogance. Do you know the Course in Miracles says that it's arrogant for us to think what we believe and what our ideas about what we are is truer than God's ideas about what we are. It's truer than our Creator's idea. According to Course, our Creator's idea of us is that we are loved and we're whole and we're complete and that we're innocent and that we're eternal and that we're spirit. It's our idea that we are separate. It's our idea that we are bodies. It's our idea that we are different from each other to the point that we exclude each other from love, and then give some love to some parts of ourselves or to some people and withhold it from others. It's us that has grievances. It's us because we are free to think anything we want to think. We are free to learn anything that we choose to learn, even if it's not true. It's the power of our decision. It's your decision. You have the power to decide that you are loved, that you are still as God created you, that you are still spirit. You have the power to decide that you are not a victim of the situation that you're dealing with right now. So what is it that we need to do today? Well, let us today be truly humble. So what does it mean to be truly humble? It means to accept what we have made as what it is. Accept what we've made. You are making up your feeling right now. You're making up the way you see things right now. You are inventing the world you see. You're the one that's making the choices to be in the relationship you're in, the job you think you're in, the situation. Even those things that don't even seem like it's your choice, they are your choice. But you are not alone. You have help. You have help that wants to get you out of those perceptions and beliefs that bring you pain and suffering. You are not stuck. You are not by yourself. You don't have to get past this block, but you do have to make the decision that you're not a victim of your experience, that you are not the victim of the world that you see. So let's today be truly humble. That means we need to accept what we've made as what it is. So what is your power? The power of decision is our own. The power of decision is your power. So what is the decision? What is the decision? What is the decision that you need to make right now? What is the decision you need to make right now in this situation that you're in this circumstance that you're in? What does the Course in Miracles say in paragraph 8? Decide what? Only to accept your rightful place. Accept your rightful place. Accept your rightful place. What is your rightful place? Accept your rightful place as co-creator. You are a co-creator. You're not a victim, you're a creator. You are the creator of your experience. You are the creator of your perception of your experience. You and who you really are as an unlimited spiritual being that's an extension of the creator, the child of God. You are the co-creator of the universe. And if you will accept that you are a co-creator, what's going to happen? Well, the Course in Miracles says if you decide to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, then all you think you made that's causing you any fear, any upset, any pain, all you think you made will disappear. But it won't disappear as long as you see yourself as a victim of the world that you see. It won't disappear as long as you see yourself as a victim of everything that's happening around you instead of the creator of the way that you see it and experience. And when you accept that you are a co-creator with God, that you are a co-creator with the creator, that you are a co-creator with spirit and love, then what's going to rise to your awareness? You're going to become aware of all there ever was, the love that ever was, all the abundance, all the joy, all the peace, all the truth that ever was, because it's eternal. The love, the joy, the happiness that's available to you is eternal, so which means that joy and that happiness and that love is available to you right now. And what's going to happen when you become aware of that love and that truth and that freedom that's available to you right now? Well, it's going to take the place of all self-deceptions. You're deceiving yourself if you think you're guilty. You're deceiving yourself if you think you're something that's weak and has to die. That's the body. The body dies. Everything in the physical world ends. That's how you know it wasn't created by God. Nothing created by God ends. What's created by the eternal is eternal. But what we make up that's separate from the truth, that is what does not last. That is what constantly changes. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us that when you decide that you have the power of choice, you have the power of decision, when you decide to accept your rightful place as the creator of your experience, as a co-creator with the Creator, as a co-creator with God, he says, then all that you think you made will disappear. What is that? What is it that you think you made that will disappear? The belief that you're sinful and guilty will disappear. Your fear will disappear. Your suffering will disappear. Your lack will disappear. Your sickness will disappear. Your loneliness will disappear when you decide to accept your rightful place as a co-creator. And then you're going to become aware of the love, the truth, the joy, the beauty that really exists behind the false beliefs and ideas that you have behind the learnings that you've gotten from the world, behind the beliefs that you are a body that's separate, that must die one day, behind the conditioning and programming that you've gotten from the world is your true identity. And we were just told that your true identity, what did it say? It says your true identity is unchangeable. Your true identity is powerful and loving, and nothing can change that. So what you want to do is what? Decide right now that you're going to accept that you have the power of decision. You're going to decide right now to accept your rightful place as a co-creator. I'm going to do a quick recap of what I said so far. I'm Earl Purdy. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. I do it on a donation basis. If you like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I would be very grateful. You can use Venmo, the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. And you can go to my website. All you need is my email address, and my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's Purdy. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm available for what I call one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. Have a one-on-one session with me. Get past the block. Get past that problem. I can be your coach as well as your mentor, and we can also see other ways to look at whatever it is that you're going through that's causing you pain and suffering right now. There are other ways to look at it. I'm also have been an astrologer and a numerologist for many years. That's what actually led me to the Course in Miracles. If you like to have that type of interpretation from me, that's also available. That's separate. Just go to my website. It will earlpurdy.com, www.earlpurdy.com, and you can get more details, and you can self-book an appointment with me right from my website. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook Live on the Earl Purdy page, I do another Course in Miracles Facebook Live Course in Miracles presentation. If you live in the Denver, Colorado area, you can attend in person at 1555 Race Street, RACE, 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado, 80206, and it's also online. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, online only, it's Hardcore Course in Miracles, which is what you're watching right now. 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I upload all my classes to YouTube. So I have tons of classes on YouTube. So you can watch my classes even if you don't have Facebook. You can have people watch my classes that you know who aren't Facebook members by going to YouTube. Okay? I'm here to be truly helpful. Things are heating up in this dream world, as the Course would call it, that we're in right now. It's important that we get in touch with our power and the power of decision. So here we go. So what did we cover? Let yourself hear this. The power of decision is my own power. The power of decision is your own power. The power of decision is your own. The power of decision is your own. No one can suffer unless it's their own decision. No one suffers pain unless their choice elects this state for them. No one can grieve, nor fear, nor think themselves sick unless these are the outcomes that they want, even though they might not realize it. No one dies without their own consent. We are unlimited, immortal souls, spirits having a human experience, learning how to love, and we choose to leave here in many different ways. Nothing is omitted that you choose. That's the world that you see, which means you are not trapped in this situation. You're not trapped in this situation. And guess what? There are no exceptions. The truth applies to everyone, and it applies to everyone equally. The truth is true, and nothing else is true. Do you know love is true? That you are not alone is true, and nothing else is true. And whenever it looks like the truth isn't always true, do you know the Course says that's just contradictions that you are introducing to convince yourself that the truth doesn't work in every circumstance. Do you know that as love created you, as God created you, you are unchangeable love, you are unchangeable light, you are unchangeable spirit. Do you know that all shifts in feeling? Do you know that all alterations in the body, do you know all changes in the mind are coming from your ego self? What is your ego self? Your ego self is your self-concept. It's the you that you think you are. It's your concept of yourself that's constantly changing. Do you know the idea of yourself as being a man, a woman, something that dies and changes in emotions and feelings? That's you identifying with your false self, not your true self. Your true self is unchangeable power, unchangeable love, unchangeable strength. The power of decision is your own. God did not create this perception of the world that we have. Love did not create this perception of the world that we have. That's coming from us. That's coming from our beliefs and the way that we treat each other. And we can change it. And we're not alone. We have the Holy Spirit. We have Jesus of the Course in Miracles that is here to help us change our mind. So the power of decision is your power right now that can be used to change any situation that's causing you any kind of pain and suffering. So tell yourself, the power of decision is my own. The power of decision is our own power. So what do you need to do? Decide to accept your rightful place. Decide to accept your rightful place. What is your rightful place? What is your rightful place? As co-creator of the universe. What? You are the co-creator. You are the co-creator. You are not the victim of this situation. You're not the victim of this circumstance. There's another way to look at it. There's another choice you can make. Decide what? Decide to accept your rightful place as co-creator with God. And then all the pain, the suffering that you see in your experience that you've made will disappear. So say to yourself, the power of decision is my own power. The power of decision is your own power. Your power is the power of decision. Your power is the power of decision. Your power is the power of decision. Your power, you have the power to decide. You have the power of decision. Mighty companion, this is Earl Purdy. Thank you for tuning in. Listen to this at least 4 times. Please follow my page. Please share this video. Share this video. Share this video. Share this video. Please share this video. Mighty companion, may the course be with you. I've decided to see you as innocent, as eternal, and to see you as God created you, to see you as love created you. I love 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 you. Say this with me for 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Are you ready? Take a breath. The power of decision is my own power. The power of decision is my own. The power of decision is my own. The power of decision is my own power. The power of decision is my power. The power of decision is your power. You have the power to decide. And you can decide to accept your place as the co-creator with God. I love you.